The Crusades helped pave the way to expanding networks of exchange as lords and their armies of knights brought back fabric and spices from the east. Despite the inroads on the Byzantine Empire by the Ottoman Turks, the Silk Road's trade routes remained in operation, as did sea routes across the Mediterranean Sea and the Indian Sea. China was still eager for Europe's gold and silver, and Europe was growing more eager for even more silk, tea, and rhubarb. Global trade increased, although Europeans have not yet found a route around the Cape of Good Hope at the southern tip of Africa. They had been making overland trips across Europe for many centuries. After the collapse of classical civilizations such as the Roman and Han empires, the first golden age of the Silk Roads came to an end, and activity declined dramatically. However, by the 8th and 9th century, Arab merchants from the Abbasid Empire revived the land routes of the Silk Road as well as sea routes in the Indian Ocean. The rise of the Mongols had an impact on the expansion of trade. The Mongols conquered the Abbasid Caliph in 1258, and in the 14th century, China came under their control as well. Parts of the Silk Road that were under the authority of different rulers were, for the first time, unified in a system under the control of an authority that respected merchants and enforced laws. The Mongols improved roads and punished bandits, both of which increased the safety of travel on the Silk Road. New trade channels were also established between Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. Those who survived the conquest by the Mongols and their descendants benefited from the renovation of trade routes that had not been heavily used since the days of the Roman and Han empires. Another cause for the expansion of exchange network was the improvement of transportation. Travelers on the overland Silk Roads learned that traveling with others in caravans was safer than traveling alone. They also learned how to design saddles for camels that greatly increased the weight of the load the animals could carry. China had also made advances in naval technology. It allowed it to control sea-based trade routes in the South China Sea. Chinese scientists developed the magnetic compass and improved their rubber. They also developed junk, which was a boat similar to the Southwest Asian dhow. Effects of the expansion and stability of the Silk Road were the series of oases that developed along the routes, including thriving cities and commercial inventions that greatly helped to manage the increasing trade. For example, the city of Kashgar is located in the western edge of China where northern and southern routes of the Silk Road crossed, leading to destinations in Central Asia, India, Pakistan, and Eurasia. It is watered by the Kashgar River, which has made the land along it fertile for crops such as wheat, rice, fruits, and cotton. Travelers on the Silk Road depended on the Kashgar for their water and food. Once the routes of the Silk Road became stabilized, inks known as caravanserai sprang up, often about 100 miles apart. That distance is how far camels could travel before they needed water. At the inks, travelers could rest both themselves and their animals and sometimes trade their animals for fresh ones. China had long been a money economy. However, the copper coins they used became too unwieldy to transport for everyday transactions, so the government developed a system of credit known as foreign cash. This allowed a merchant to deposit paper money under his name in one location and withdraw the same amount at another location. Location for exchanging flying cash became a model for the banks of the modern era, including the banking house established in European cities in the 1300s. The Crusades awakened Europeans' interest in luxury goods from Asia. To acquire them, they organized a trade of European resources. In the 13th century, cities in Germany and Scandinavia founded a commercial alliance called the Hanseatic League, controlling trade in the North Sea and Baltic Sea. They would run the Atlantic coast of Western Europe, proceeding to the ports of the Mediterranean. They might pick up valuable goods from Arab caravans. The leagues lasted until the mid-17th century when national governments became strong enough to protect their merchants. The growing demand for luxury goods from Afro-Eurasia, China, Persia, and India led to a corresponding increase in the supply of those goods through expanded production. Craft workers expanded their production of such goods as silk and other textiles for export. Increased demand also led to the expansion of iron and steel manufactured in China.